Hello, my name is Ann Block, and I am the Program Director of the DSM Fellowship Program. And welcome to our interview today with Tim Paulson. And Tim is a Technology Development Associate at Wellmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. And before we get into the interview with Tim, would love to share more about the DSM program with you. I know several people often ask us, what is the DSM Fellowship Program? It's a 2-year professional development initiative, and it's provided through the Greater Des Moines Partnership. And it's really designed to attract and develop and retain a diverse community of top-tier young talent. And the goal of the program is to build diversity in our workplaces and throughout the community and expose the fellows in the program to some opportunities that will accelerate their professional track, to build some connections with community leaders and build their knowledge of and engagement in current and planned activities to grow DSM USA. So with that, we welcome Tim. We'd love to learn more about you, Tim, as one of our 23 fellows in the program. And to start off, could you tell us more about yourself?
Sure. Happy to be here. Thanks, Ann. Born and raised here in Iowa, grew up in the Cedar Rapids area, went to Iowa State for undergrad, graduated with degrees in information systems and finance, and been working at Wellmark here in Des Moines for 18-ish months now, going through their Technology Development Associate Program, which is it's a 2-year program where we rotate every 6 months through different areas of their tech department. Just kind of getting exposure to, different, there's tech is very broad. There's a lot of different things going on there. So it's just kind of different experiences and in specific teams. And it's a good way to kind of, broaden your network and also just kind of broaden your skill set. Born and raised here in Iowa, just happy to be here in Des Moines.
Well, we're glad that you stayed here and you're continuing to grow your career here. And I know that you are a super busy guy. You have lots going on, not only with the fellowship and your job, but also you're working on getting your master's degree and trying to shift that also with being a young married professional. So tell us a little bit about how you are able to do all of that.
I've certainly learned a lot about time management in the last however long I've been doing this, 9 months or so I've been in grad school. It's just, I've become a lot more structured as a person. I have a pretty intense calendar now that I keep just because I can't really afford to waste too much time. So I kind of try to stick to that. Usually I go through on like a Sunday night and kind of plan out roughly how my week is going to go. And then usually after each work day, I kind of go through and plan out my next day more of an hour by hour basis, maybe not quite that in depth, but just in general, like just structuring, here's specific work projects I need to be spending time on for this period of time. And then here's where I need to start, where I need to switch over and focus on school. I think right now with, the pandemic and everything, it's really easy to have the work-life balance blurred a little bit. And, I would find myself working kind of odd hours where, starting, this new semester, I have to really try to be structured and actually allocate time to specifically for schoolwork and everything. So it's a daily, weekly, monthly battle, but I like to be busy. So it's been mostly good so far.
Gosh, I would guess that you feel like you're molded in your chair since you're in it all day with work and then you're doing your schoolwork at night. It's not like you're going to classes like a normal situation.
Yeah, it's that part's been tough at certain points. We're actually in the process of moving. So it's just it's going to be a lot more space. We're moving into a house at the end of this month, which would be great. Get out of the 1-bedroom apartment. That's another thing that I'm trying to juggle right now is all those logistics. But once we're once we're through all that, I think it's going to be great to have a little bit more space and not, if I back up like 6 inches right now, I hit our bed. So it's been kind of rough being stuck in this little corner of my bedroom, but it's a tough time for everybody. So I think I'm not going to complain too much about having a good job and having the opportunity to go to grad school. So.
Yeah, you're right. It's really been a challenging time for people, and everyone's really ready to be out of it. I think we're probably in the worst right now with all the cold weather, but that's really exciting with a new house. Congratulations. I wasn't aware of that. That's very cool. Well, I love your story with your dog and with the name and with your background around that sport. So can you tell us a little bit about your dog, why you named it the way you did? And
Sure. Yeah, we, like I think a lot of people, decided to get a COVID puppy. So we thought, okay, we're going to be home. We'd been thinking about it for a while, and it was okay. We're going to be home for the next 2 weeks for the pandemic, right? Here we are about a year later. But we thought, okay, let's get a dog. And so we got, it's an Australian Shepherd and Poodle mix. So he's an Aussie Doodle. And we named him Rafa because my favorite tennis player growing up and still playing is Rafael Nadal, the Spanish tennis player. And yeah, that's something that I always wanted to have. If I named a dog, to have some kind of special meaning, and it's just kind of a fun name, and it's somebody that I always idolize. So yeah, right now with the Australian Open going on, it's kind of tricky where he's on TV and also my dog is running around. So a little bit of working to do there, but.
No, I'm a tennis lover too. So I just think that's a great story. Thanks for sharing. Everybody always gets a kick out of our animals. Well, Mark, you've been there 18 months, you said?
Yeah, 18 or 19 months, about a year and a half. So. And
is that like hard changing your boss every 6 months and kind of shifting and starting over? What's that experience been like for you?
It's there's good and bad. I think the good certainly outweighs the bad. The challenging thing is you're going through an onboarding process essentially, twice a year, which is, it's always a little bit of a challenge, with getting, a lot of times it's totally different, kinds of work that you're doing. So just getting up to date on, team norms and what kind of projects and the terminology and the work you're doing a lot of times can be pretty vastly different. The good thing is you get a lot of exposure to a lot of different things in a pretty short amount of time. And also it's a good networking tool, certainly is one of the benefits. It's for bosses where, if you do well, that's for, middle management people in the organization that are going to have a good opinion of you. It's for directors and, VPs and whatnot. So it's a lot of exposure to, to people throughout the organization that, after this, I'll have, something a little bit more permanent, but I've interacted with a ton of different people throughout the organization and made a lot of good connections. So yeah, it's overall, it's been really good. I'm certainly looking forward to the finish line here, being in my last rotation. But it's a great program.
Well, I'm sure that you're going to look back and say, how did I juggle everything? How did I, not only with your, outside work, but also switching gears every 6 months. That's definitely, but I guess that's the new normal, right? We're all trying to adapt to whatever new environment we're in. So that may be really a good experience in being flexible.
Yeah.
With all that you do. So that's great. Well, one of the things the fellow's working on, for those that might be interested with the program, is there are 2 capstone projects, one in the first year and one in the second year. And your capstone project just kicked off here last week, and I know you're involved with the Eat Greater Des Moines. Can you share a little bit about that program and maybe what your role's going to be, or how you see that you can best contribute to that particular capstone?
Sure. So it's a community fridge program, I guess you could say. It's certainly in these times, it's really, really cool to see what they're doing. It's right now they're setting up community fridges where basically, people, if they have food insecurity, they can go access food at these different locations that are managed by the Eat Greater DSM program. And right now, we're pretty early on in the project stage, I guess you could say. But I think what we're going to be doing is a little bit of, scouting different locations that they might be, looking to expand into, maybe working more with some of their vendors to try to increase the, amount of donations that they're getting. And then, just in seeing if there's anything just from an operational standpoint that we can improve the efficiency of, I think is going to be a challenge. But in terms of our roles, I think we're still kind of defining what that's going to be. My background is data and analytics. So I think probably if there's numbers to be looked at and crunched, I think that's probably what I'll be doing. But we're still pretty early on, but it's certainly a really cool initiative. It's awesome that we're working on a project like this. Just especially right now, you see the numbers with food insecurity have certainly, it's with the pandemic and everything. It's certainly a problem. So this is one possible way we can help out, as the fellowship, and I think that's great.
No, you're right. The food insecurity issue and the homelessness issues are just really increased now because of all that's going on. So the fellows are really doing some very meaningful work with the things that they're doing and some very challenging projects. So we'll look forward to hearing more about those as you start getting in a little deeper with that in the next few months. So, well, Tim, anything else you'd like to share with us before we kind of wrap up today?
I would just say thanks to you and to the Des Moines Fellowship, just the organization, just for helping us with this and for putting on this program. It's been great, and thanks to Wellmark for I know there's a lot of Wellmark people in this program, so thanks to Wellmark for putting us through this. It's been it's great for the type of training we get and just kind of also the networking aspect. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next, I guess we've been doing this for about 6 months now, so looking forward to the next year and a half of the program.
Sounds great. Well, thanks for your time today. Sure appreciate it. And if anyone has questions on the program, they can email me, Fellows Director at dsmpartnership.com, and have a great rest of the week.